Trippers. Colgate tooth powder.
Hey, we have Colgate tooth powder in our medicine cabinet.
A mark for color mixing.
Oh no, the toilet has suffered.
An artistic type of prisoner. Can you go up the stairs?
I don't think they want us to go up the stairs.
Who starts here?
This is where you hit the green button for play.
You guys go into that door.
Yeah, but you don't. You just have a look at the block and then come back.
Yeah. You know him? It's dark in here when the outside door is open. They close that outside door. Close the windows. Close our. In the low light, look at them side by side. You get all the low light video. We're here for a long time.
Okay. No way. What's it called?
Our channel is Quest for Tacos,
Okay.
which
Recording?
is
All right.
travel.
Listen, my channel is called J-Man Curly. I'm a gaming YouTuber, but right now you gotta subscribe to Quest for Tacos. Smash that button.
Because they're seeing things going on with the meter here in Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I have heard.
I want to see this.
I have heard tales. So.
If there are any spirits near us right now, can you make the light red? If there's a spirit near me right now, can you please make the light red?
I got to get one of these.
Amazon.
She carries a Geiger counter around every place. All I
have a spirit box that like cycles through radio channels and it'll select a word that the spirit wants to communicate. I got it all on Amazon.
I'm going to be watching your videos.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it,
We
sir.
will check them out.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your
Quest
tour.
for Tacos.
I will.
And have a good night.
Bye. You too.
So from the other side, you can barely see through these, but from this side, you can see whoever you're visiting clearly. Which is nice for the people visiting, but not nice for the people being visited.
He was trained as a paratrooper. It's a rolling circle station. He was a decorated airman, European leader of World War II. And then the war. What many told us in our interview was that that's what they decided. Not all the I didn't understand that after verification. He says, I didn't think that light club theory was there. He says, so I said, I'm not going to follow the rules. What's the worst thing you can do? Add more years on top of that light plus 30. Then he eventually was late with the course. That's
Alrighty, good evening, folks. We're going to begin a live talk right here, 7:40. If you'd like to join us, come on over. 15-20 minute talk tonight. If you're still on your audio tour, no worries. This is your last stop on your audio tour. You're welcome to finish in Alley through kind of a unique lens. You'll find out in just a few moments here. But we'll take advantage of where we are tonight here on Alcatraz. I'm going to share with you some stories tonight, a few different options for you to consider. I encourage you to really form your own opinions tonight on this topic. But we'll be talking a little bit about eating here on Alcatraz, talking a little bit about what it's like to eat behind bars, especially here in our California State Prison system. So come on over, come join us. We're going to get started here just about a minute or so. On this island, sometimes for a little extra income, they'd go work over there at Ghirardelli. And sometimes if the westerly winds were just right, if the fog was rolling in, it would bring that smell of freshly made chocolate across that mile-and-a-quarter gap in the bay, straight through this dining hall. Imagine sitting in this dining hall and smelling chocolate being made just across the bay. Folks, I want to talk to you a little bit about food tonight through kind of a unique lens. After all, we're here on Isla de los Alcatraz, this island of the seabird. We have 30,000 plus nesting seabirds. They're just starting to leave. That's what brings all of the lovely flies out here tonight. And what's so amazing about these Western gulls especially, this is an egg of a Western gull. If you were here a few months ago, you would have seen thousands of these scattered across the island. They're all grown up now. And within one of these Western gull eggs that's laid here on the island, it's pretty remarkable. There's some balance that's inherent in its design. If you were to pick up one of these eggs, it looks just like a chicken egg, save for the color. Kind of has the same size, the same shape to it. But what you will not notice is this almost imperceptible little flat piece on the egg that prevents the egg from rolling down the rocky cliffs, especially here on Alcatraz, rolling off the recreation yard wall, off the cell house roof. The egg has a lot to teach us about life, about death, about nourishment, about options. I want to give you a few options tonight. And I'm wondering, what role should food play behind bars? Could it be used just to pacify a population, keep them quiet? Is it about punishment? It's prison after all. Could it be a part of the healing process? Could it be to just sustain stomachs and livelihoods behind bars? I want to share with you a few different stories. I want you to form your own opinion tonight on what you think the role of food should be behind bars. We're going to do it through the lens, or rather through the shell of an egg here on Isla de los Alcatrazes. Now, author Lizzie Stark says that within an egg is the whole universe. But I need your help with this next part. And I will tell you that the men who dined where you're sitting tonight, where I'm standing tonight, had access to metal silverware, even steak knives. Don't let that throw you off. Because I want to ask you folks, do you think, and just guess, all friends here, do you think this is a lunch that's served in an American school or an American prison? What's your best guess? School. Adamant on school. You're right. Give you an easy one there. School lunch. That's like what I grew up with. Now, school lunch or prison lunch on this one, what do you think? School here.
Prison.
It's a prison in the back, okay? It's a prison lunch. State of Kentucky, a few years old. School lunch or prison lunch on this one?
School lunch.
Prison, school. It's a school lunch. And last one, folks, what do you think? School lunch or prison lunch on this one here?
That's way better. Way better than my elementary school lunch.
This is a prison lunch. Of course, just one example, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner from the Alabama Correctional Complex. This photograph, I believe, was taken about 2018. A sample of a restricted diet, one slice of hard-boiled egg for breakfast in this instance. The reality is that no matter where you're incarcerated here in the United States, you're 6 times more likely to suffer from a foodborne illness, a food diet-related disease once you enter prison. And I wonder if the goal of prison is rehabilitation, why are a lot of incarcerated folks leaving a lot less healthy than when they enter? How did we get to this point? Where do we go from here? That's where I need your help. But I want to wind back the clock just a little bit and remind us where we are. Isla de los Alcatrazes, island of the seabird. We are in what was once a food-rich place. Now, the Rabaytush-Ohlone-speaking people whose homeland we're on right now, about twice a year, those sturgeon used to come through the Golden Gate. They used to dip their spears in the bay waters off Alcatraz and catch these giant sturgeon and dine on caviar during that season. There used to be so many birds, they used to black out the sky. Salmon used to run so thick in the creeks you could walk from bank to bank just on the backs. But of course, in the 1850s, 10 foreign ships that came through the Golden Gate turned into 10,000. The California gold rush was on. People from all around the world rushed into San Francisco in hopes of looking for gold. There are so many ships parked out in the bay, you can practically walk from this island to Fisherman's Wharf if you lined up these ships in a row. Needless to say, there's a lot of hungry newcomers here in San Francisco, a lot of enterprising young men who wanted to feed this population. Now, Alcatraz is easy to pick off. It's just a bird poop encrusted rock. It's likely the oysters, the mussels, the birds, the eggs were quickly depleted on this island to feed hungry gold miners. These men had to go all the way out to the Farallon Islands, 28 miles out to see the Devil's Teeth. On a clear day off the Golden Gate Bridge, you could see these islands, and these men figured out how to hack the ecosystem out there. If they go to these islands, much like Alcatraz, and they step on every seabird egg they can find, they knew the mother seabird would lay a fresh egg the next morning. Why have an old egg when you could have a new fresh egg you could sell for $2 to $5 a piece in San Francisco in the 1850s? If you want a classic San Francisco dish, try a Hangtown fry. It's an omelet, of course, of eggs, oysters, and bacon, a quintessential SF dish. Give you the scale of the destruction here on Alcatraz and other islands, these eggs being collected out here. But of course, population is going to explode in San Francisco. It's going to explode on this island. It goes from a failed military fortress to now a military prison. Now, during this era, this whole cell house is built to be a minimum security disciplinary barracks. Most soldiers are let out of their cells during the day. They're only locked up at night during this era. A lot of these men are employed on Angel Island, our sister island, another army base at the time. And we know in 1930, there were 30 men who were employed in the vegetable garden, growing fresh produce to serve right here in this dining hall. But you know, in the 1930s, the military gives up on this island as a prison. The Bureau of Prisons takes over. They convert this old, crumbling cell house into now a maximum security penitentiary. They only managed to fill it about halfway, about 286 is the max. And during this era, it's a little more strict, as you know. Maximum punishment, minimum privileges. You're only let out of your cell in this era, the civilian era, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for work. Maybe you're lucky enough to have a visit or get sent out to the hospital. The majority of your time spent out of your cell is at work or in this dining hall right here. And if we're going to believe a guard, he said the food on Alcatraz, it's not worth going to Alcatraz for, he said. But he said, quote, the food is quite nutritious, that is not overly expensive. He said good food makes for better order on Alcatraz. Even the very last meal served here before they close down includes a pretty full breakfast, of course, one scrambled egg in there. Take as much food as you wanted as long as you didn't waste any. If we're to believe an incarcerated man, he wrote a letter back home to Mom. He said, Mom, we get pies and puddings and cakes, meats and greens. He said, I've only been here for 4 days and the food is exceptional. The idea of the prison administration here is to keep them pacified through good food and plenty of it. By the 1950s, there's not a lot of native fish here in San Francisco Bay. The gold rush wiped out a lot of them. But there's a success story. They bring striped bass from the East Coast. You can fit about 200 striped bass eggs in the palm of your hand. And by the 1950s, they're running around Alcatraz still today to some extent. And guards who lived here on the island, they would spend their time off down at the dock having some of the best fishing of their lives. They'd load up that big Chevy pickup truck full of striped bass from the bay and come and feed the main line of incarcerated men freshly caught striped bass from the bay out here. Keep them happy, keep them well fed was the idea. Out here to Alcatraz, you had to already be incarcerated in another federal penitentiary. Of course, there are exceptions. Very few life sentences, no executions. This is temporary punishment. Now, you can be sent here for being an escape risk, especially violent, a troublemaker, a striker, a racial agitator, an alleged communist. That can land you here on this island. For a time that's served here does not count towards your formal sentence in most cases. So when men arrived here, this is punishment. But what happens when you violate the rules at the end of the line for the federal penitentiary system? Now, you've seen D Block. It was built in 1941. But when Warden Johnson assumes control in the 1930s, he's got a big job ahead of him. He's got to go from minimum security to maximum security. He's got to maintain order. He has to look good for his boss, the director of the Bureau of Prisons. in Washington, D.C. But in 1936 and 1937, there are huge strikes on this island. Incarcerated men are refusing to work in the prison factories for no pay. They're refusing to leave their cells, some of them. And some men are refusing to eat altogether. Now, the men who violate the rules in this area, they're put in an area that's just called in archival documents isolation, sometimes lower solitary. And we know if you're being punished on Alcatraz, you're not going to get 3 full meals daily. You're going to get, in some cases, 14 ounces of bread and water. Sometimes that day's main line blended up in a small paper cup. Sometimes a small salad, a small piece of bread, and a bowl of soup. A restricted bulletin diet, as the documents read. But we know that about 15 men are put into isolation for participating in this work strike. And they're refusing to eat because what they're demanding is that they're being punished, but they want 3 full meals daily like everyone else. At least give us the food that we're entitled to. Because here on Alcatraz, food is one of your very few rights, 1 out of 4 rights. Now he has to write the director of the Bureau of Prisons, James Bennett, over there in Washington, D.C., and he says, Director, he says 15 men who are being punished in the isolation section are refusing to eat the food that was offered to them. They declined on February 15th, on February 16th, but on February 17th, Director, it was necessary to get the island's doctor, the chief physician, involved. And the chief physician recommended that these 15 men be accordingly force-fed a liquid diet of milk, sugar, and eggs. He says, Director, 10 of these men decided to drink the food on their own accord, but it was necessary to tube feed 5 others, milk, sugar, and eggs. Food was a right, but it was also used as a tool of punishment here on Alcatraz. And today in our California state prison system, one of the largest in the country, a lot of incarcerated folks, just like here on Alcatraz, are working behind bars. Now, if you're incarcerated in the Central Valley, like Avenal State Prison, incarcerated men harvest, raise, liquefy, freeze eggs to go to other state prisons. They can earn about 30 cents to $3 an hour, depending on your classification, your experience, your level of security out there. Chances are, if you dine at a state office at their cafeteria, you'll be dining on eggs that were last touched by incarcerated men at Avenal State Prison. And what are incarcerated folks doing with the money that they do earn behind bars? And if you speak with these folks, you'll understand that a lot of it's going to victims' funds. It might be going for room and board. It might be going towards commissary items, something they did not have here on Alcatraz. This institution provided everything they thought you needed, including food, no extra convenience store. But in a lot of state prisons, you're going to find commissaries where you can supplement your diet, supplement your toiletry needs, maybe writing utensils, through the prison store. This is an example of a care package you can send to an incarcerated person right now in a Bureau of Prison facility. Not fresh striped bass from the bay, of course, but tuna in a pouch. 3 hours of labor is what it will cost you to afford enough to buy that package of instant ramen if you're incarcerated in the state of Hawaii. So we're seeing food being used not just to sustain stomachs, but to sustain livelihoods, of course. We see that my colleague was just showing me a TikTok that was filmed behind bars where an incarcerated man is earning a little bit of extra money selling dishes he's making in his cell with the help of a butane torch, his metal tabletop, and some eggs he's bought from the commissary to make fried egg sandwich to supplement his income in the state of Texas, where incarcerated people are not paid for their labor. But we also are seeing food used as a rehabilitative tool. If you go over to Maine, this is the Maine Correctional Complex. This photograph is a little outdated, about 6 years old, but very recently they just harvested about 160,000 pounds of fresh produce from their prison facility. This is right outside their recreation yard. A lot of this food is going back into their dining hall, a program they had here on Alcatraz back in the military era, back when those men were harvesting vegetables over on Angel Island. It's more of that food harvested right outside the prison walls there. Even our California state prison system is improving the diets. We're increasing the cost to feed an incarcerated person here in California from $3.14 for 3 meals for one person to $3.75, recognizing the value of more nutritious food, making progress. Those prison lunches, those school lunches are getting better. A lot of hardworking people behind those two things, absolutely. And here on this island, we're seeing a lot of healing going on. It's no accident that this dining hall is the venue for our formerly incarcerated speakers series, where folks that are recently released, not from Alcatraz, but from our state prison system, come up here and talk about their experience, share their truth, take accountability, share their stories, folks just like us. And out here, the most visited national park site in the entire country, 1.8 million visitors a year, yet 30,000 seabirds choose to come back to this island to start their families all over again every single year. So folks, we've seen a few different options, and I'm wondering what you think the role of food should be behind bars. Should it be about punishment? I think so. Is it about just sustaining folks, just keeping them alive? Is it about keeping them happy, keeping them subdued? Can it be a part of the healing process? I think that's the beauty of Alcatraz as a national park. We can not only reflect on the past, but we can use it to better understand the future and decide collectively where do we want to go from here. So I appreciate y'all being here. I encourage you to form your own opinion tonight. Have a great night out here. Lots of great stuff going on. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thank you.